Football Manager 26, I've got an itch at the back of my neck that tells me it's going to land this year. The question is it going to be better than FM24? I expect it to have one feature that should help a lot of new players. The question is it going to be better than what's in FM24? I have to admit, on a recent stream, I was very surprised when one of the viewers expressed that he had never seen this feature in the game. This feature, of course, is the Football Manager Manual. Yes, it's in the game. All you've got to do is go to File, you see the word Manual there, you click that little button, and it's a hyperlink that will take you to a website where it has features of the game explained. For example, for the last 10 years, I've been trying to explain to people that the defensive line is both an instruction that we have to pay attention to when we don't have the ball and when we do have the ball. In other words, when you have possession of the ball, the defensive line affects it. Now, the issue has been me having to prove it. And most of the time when I say this, whether it's on the forums or on someone's blog, people will invariably tell me, hey, it's not. If you look at the game, you see the out of possession tab, and you notice this clearly says out of possession. You're not supposed to have the ball. The high defensive line is inside this little area. Therefore, the high defensive line is only for when you don't have the ball. So if you go to the FM manual, you'll find out that, hey, this instruction affects you when you have the ball and when you don't have the ball. Hallelujah. Now, I just have one issue with the manual. While I like the FM manual, and I think it's an improvement, and it's going to help a lot of new players, my issue with it is it's not detailed enough. It has to have more information. When you go into the game, of course, we've got quite a number of instructions in the game. But the most important area of the game has to be play instructions. Now, there's been a debate for many years about passing risks. What does take more risks and take fewer risks mean? Now, for the longest time, everybody figured it was only about passing. Now, recently, someone on the forums actually said something else, that it affects other facets of the game. This is where we need clarity. So, in my opinion, if you look at the manual, you will see that it does explain certain things, but it doesn't go into too much detail. In fact, there is no explanation of passing risks in the entire manual. This is an area of the game I feel that SI can improve. So when FM26 does land, it's going to have plenty of little features in the game that refer to play instructions, maybe team instructions. I think SI need to explain each facet of those instructions and try and help people come to grips with it. Because after all, I expect a new user interface. There's going to be plenty of questions on how to navigate. And we don't want people to be even more confused when they come across a term and it has multiple interpretations. When you go into the FM manual, you'll find some explanations on things like mentality, what it does affect. Of course, it affects quite a number of things, as you find out. Here, each base mentality adjusts several tactical settings. Under the hood, combined with your tactical instructions, they include the intensity of the press, something I've been saying for a long time. There's 6 other things that it affects. You can find out about it here. But there is something here that creates a lot of doubt. Team fluidity. As I explained a couple of years ago, that team fluidity has been removed from the game. Now, then we have a whole section here explaining team fluidity. And all of a sudden, everything has been thrown out of the window. Because up until FM 20, team fluidity had a place in the game because we had something called philosophy. Now we don't have that anymore. So team fluidity, as I keep telling us on the forums, don't pay attention. Don't bother about this. It only affects the AI manager. However, if you come into the game, and you go to creative freedom, be more expressive, tells you that this instruction affects fluidity. Now, it's these kind of things that SI need to address when we play FM26. Clarity. We need further clarity on what this affects. Another area of the game SI could help the new user with are traits. Now, anytime you go into a play and you decide, hey, you know what, we want you to go and learn a new trait, and we come here, we pick a trait, we got movement training, and then we've got to put our arms around him and, blah, blah, blah. They send a player off to learn a trait. Now, it would be a good idea in the manual itself for there to be a list of available traits in the game. And what attributes affect these traits and what these traits actually do. What is curls ball? When does it affect the player? Because as a manager, you only have the word curls ball. I mean, it's quite strange that if I'm a manager and I'm supposed to know football manager tactics, I'm going to a assistant manager to tell him, go and get him to learn this trait. Yeah, I want him to learn how to curl the ball. I'm expecting him to be able to curl the ball anytime he plays the shot. Does it affect shooting? Does it affect passing? Does it affect only free kicks? Does it only affect set pieces like the corner? So exactly what does curl ball do? An explanation would be good. Furthermore, having associated attributes that help you learn that trait would be helpful as well. So the new user who's playing the game for the first time at least can tell, hey, you know what? This player of mine, he's got 8 for technique, 2 for crossing, 3 for finishing. He can't possibly learn curls ball. This could be helpful. And this is an area of the game that SI can help new users with. Furthermore, if we can include within this manual explanations about attributes and how attributes work together for certain facets of play, then it will also help the new user, especially if you're looking at tactics now. I mean, formations really have gone out of the window. Now we're talking about structures, how a team sets up for its rest defense, how it appears in transition, and how it appears in attack. Now, in the future, whenever a person is creating a tactic, he's got to have in his head the idea that there are going to be certain attributes that are important for different phases of play. Perhaps breaking these attributes down into the defensive transition attributes, the build-up transition attributes, and the attacking transition attributes would be helpful so that a player can understand, now, if I want to create a low block tactic, perhaps my team needs these attributes in general. This will help the new user as well, because plenty of new players, when they come into the game, they have a binary understanding of attributes. They think that this attribute is the only attribute that's important for scoring a goal, perhaps finishing. But they may not realize that finishing, agility, balance, composure, aggression, strength, technique, first touch, these could all be equally as important for a player depending on the situation. Grouping these attributes together will give new players a better understanding of the holistic approach they need to take when creating tactics. So I'm hoping that we get a rugged manual with lots of little explanations inside there that will help the new user play the game, enjoy the game, and of course, make the game the great game that it can potentially be. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me. Yes, I have been away for a very long time. That kind of happens when you've got children who have reached an age where they go, Daddy, can you stop playing with a computer and come play with me? And yeah, sometimes we got to put our priorities where it matters. And I do apologize for the lack of videos. I will try and get videos out as often as I can. I'm getting ready for the launch of FM26. What are you doing about it? Let me know in the comments below. Meanwhile, you guys stay safe, take care of yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.